have a chance. Richarlison. Cuts it back. Oh, what a goal! First up! It's just the 5th minute.
Still Lewandowski. Still Doski. Finds Dembele, and Dembele scores an equaliser. What a pass from Lewandowski. He has been the best player. He has actually got 2 assists. One of Gavi's goal and now Dembele's goal.
And City wins! City won the match. Manchester City won the match.
Hello everybody, this is Brisbane05Blaster here, and yes, we're back with another season of the Brisbane05Blaster World Club Cup, and that is season 2. So, it was a pretty good season, and Real Madrid actually won the finals against Barcelona, if you've actually watched the finals. It was a pretty good game. It was like neck to neck in the first half, but then second half it was all Real Madrid. They scored 2 goals, well, 2 unanswered goals. Barcelona didn't reply back after that, and that's how Madrid became the champions. So the first 2 teams to make it to the finals in my cup, my tournament. And it was a pretty good game though, so yeah. And now we're in another season of Brisbane05Blaster World Club Cup. After so much time, I really cannot wait to see how things go here. So, beg your pardon. So, basically, 4 of these teams were actually eliminated because 4 teams, they actually finished or basically lost in a worst score possible. So these 4 teams are Charlton Athletic, where they actually got destroyed by Bayer Leverkusen. Tottenham Hotspur, where they obviously got destroyed by Manchester United. They actually got booty cheeked by Manchester United. They're 3-0. I'm pretty sure, if you didn't notice. But yeah, Tottenham, obviously, they are pretty bad. I mean, not bad. They're one of the best teams, but they just can't win trophies. They just can't win battles in a very important decision or in a very important game like this. So yeah, Tottenham are out. And now, I mean, that was from the English side, but then we move into the Italian side. AC Milan, out of all teams, one of the big teams, got completely destroyed by an underdog team. Yeah, AC Milan got destroyed by Czech Republic club. And that was actually an upset because someone thought that AC Milan could have actually destroyed them, but it's actually the opposite. So AC Milan is actually going to be kicked off. And same thing with Lazio. Well, Lazio and Hellas Verona actually played in a very good game, but Lazio conceded at a very earliest time. Well, we've seen a lot of teams losing in a very close game, but Lazio is actually the last team to be eliminated because Lazio, I mean, yeah, they lost by 1 goal, but they conceded the goal at an earliest time. So that's how Lazio got completely Lazio is actually the one to be eliminated here. So yeah, so these 4 teams are actually going to be off. And now, let's see how the wheel looks like. So don't go anywhere, guys. Alright, so this is the wheel of the names. We have 16 teams because 2 of the teams have been used, Manchester United and Leicester City. So they're not in the wheel of names because United actually made it to the quarterfinals, only to lose on penalties to Barcelona, and Leicester City made it to the semi-finals, had the fairy tale run, but only to get halted by Real Madrid, and also lose in the bronze medal match to Hellas Verona. So they're not there. So these 16 teams will have the opportunity to be in the competition, but only 2 can make it. So we're going to see who will be the lucky 2 teams. And looks like it's actually going to be Middlesbrough. We've not seen Middlesbrough in ages. Well, it's going to be like a very good team though. I mean, honestly, Middlesbrough they had pretty good players, but they had like Fabrizio Ravanelli, who was obviously a cult hero. He scored goals at a very at the right place at the right time. So yeah. So Middlesbrough is actually in, but who will be the next team to join Middlesbrough? Oh, so we're actually going to be having two decent clubs to replace Charlton and Tottenham. Middlesbrough and Ipswich Town. This is interesting. We get to see one of these teams. Well, sadly, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal, they won't be there for this season. So you might have to wait for another season though. So that's a bummer, but it is what it is. I mean, I would really be excited to see at least one of the teams, one of the traditional six teams join in. Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal. But we have Middlesbrough and Ipswich Town, so I think these two teams can have a fairy tale run like what Leicester City did, and Hellas Verona too as well. So yeah. Anyway, so these are the two English teams. Now let's get to the two Italian teams. Alright guys, so we have the Italian teams. So two of the Italian teams are not going to be there. And that's AC Milan, who got upsetted by Sigma Olomouc, and Lazio, who did lose by 1 goal but conceded the goal at the earliest time to Hellas Verona. So they're not there. Whereas Hellas Verona and Roma, who have already passed the first round. Well, Roma did actually get eliminated in the first round, but they only lost to Leicester City on penalties, whereas Hellas Verona have made it far to the semi-finals only to lose to Barcelona and then able to beat Leicester City in the bronze medal match. So, yeah. So who are going to be the replacements for the two Italian teams? And it's going to be an unknown Italian team. It's going to be Piacenza to be the replacement. One of the replacement for AC Milan or so. Piacenza. We've not seen Piacenza in a while. So, it's going to be an opportunity. Now, let's see what's going to be the second Italian team to replace Lazio. And it's actually going to be Lecce. It was pretty close to be Juventus for a second. But it's actually going to be two decent English clubs and two decent Italian clubs. So Lecce and what's that team's name? Piacenza. They're actually going to be joining in for the Brisbane05Blaster World Club Cup second season itself. So there might be some pretty controversial moves because there are like 4 of them are not pretty good teams basically. Well, apart from Middlesbrough and Ipswich. I mean, 2 teams. We'll see how things go though, because 4 best teams are actually going to be replaced by 4 worst teams. So, but then again, this is a chance for low-ranking teams to shine and make and create opportunities and have their moment. So yeah, we're actually going to be seeing in the final look, which will be coming up shortly. So don't go anywhere, as the final look of these 4 new teams will be added to the Brisbane05Blaster World Club Cup Season 2. I mean, this is already the teaser that we're doing, but now we're going to take a look at the final look. So, sit back while we show it to you right away. Alright guys, before we actually get to take a look at the final 16 teams, we actually decided to do the transfers for Brisbane05Blaster World Club Cup Season 2. Since this is the first time that we're actually doing it. So here are the 10 players that have actually overperformed pretty well in the tournament. We obviously have Roy Keane with that outrageous shot against Tottenham Hotspur. Steve McManaman, who obviously came clutch for Real Madrid whenever they needed him. Whenever they needed like McManaman the most, he came up. He was also doing well for Liverpool as well. Then we have Stefan Legaric, who's basically a goalkeeper for Lorient. He's actually made a couple of saves against Real Madrid, only for them to go in the wrong direction. Then we have Radoslav Kovac, who's literally like the best player here for Sigma Olomouc, got them to the quarterfinals. And then we have Mark Overmars, literally plays for Barcelona, scored some few goals. Like Steve McManaman, they also need Mark Overmars the most, did rely on Clivert, he also contributed. And then we have James Scorecroft, Leicester City's face, I would say, the face of Leicester City, scored some bangers. And then we have Savio, the Real Madrid player. He probably might have scored that second goal against Barcelona, that goal that put Real Madrid in front when Clivert actually equalized it. I'm pretty sure he actually scored that goal and not Raul. So yeah. And then we have Benjamin Gavanon, who did score that match-winning goal against Bayern Munich in the round of 16 for Marseille to progress through. And then we have Adelton, who single-handedly got Hellas Verona to the semi-finals, only to lose to Barcelona, but they did eventually beat Leicester City in the bronze medal match. So they're eventually bronze medal winners, third place winners. And then we have Z Roberto, the best player here for Bayer Leverkusen. So I really cannot wait to see what kind of offers will be going for these 10 players. But there is an option here. They can either retain it or sell, which we're either going to show it to you guys. Alright guys, we're here to see the transfer list, and obviously I put those two names on the wheel, the retain or sell. That's basically if the board really wants to retain one of their key players or sell them to another team. So first on the list is Roy Keane. And Roy Keane is actually a pretty good player. But let's see what the wheel is going to be deciding. It depends actually, because this is pretty intense. And looks like Roy Keane will be retained. So he will stay at Manchester United for this season. Now, we have next player, Steve McManaman. What's it going to be for him? I'm pretty sure they're probably going to think of selling despite McManaman being the cult hero. And yes, Steve McManaman is going to be sold to another club. So let's see what the team will be on the list to either get Steve McManaman. Hopefully it's not Barcelona, because remember about the history between those two. Ever since the Luis Figo saga, there have been no Real Madrid to Barcelona transfers. So really hope that doesn't happen. But anyway, let's see what teams will be offering. So these are the teams that are actually going to be putting an offer on Steve McManaman. But we're going to see which clubs will be joining, which clubs will get Steve McManaman. Really hope that Steve McManaman doesn't go into these type of clubs like unknown clubs. And looks like Steve McManaman will be going to France. But they'll be going to another big club, and that is Marseille, apart from PSG. So looks like Steve McManaman will be making a move to France and will be playing for Marseille. Now, basically, next on the list is we're going to put retain and sell. Well, Barcelona will probably not add. Yeah, there we go. Put the same thing on the list. Retain, sell. There we go. I probably need to make another wheel of names just to save a bit of time. And the next on the list is Stefan Lagarec, who's literally been Lorient's hero here. Despite them losing to Real Madrid, he has actually made pretty good saves. Otherwise, Lorient would have actually been crushed. But are Lorient going to retain him, or is Stefan Lagarec going to be sold to another club? And looks like Stefan Lagarec will be sold to another club. Pretty interesting, because this is something that footballers are going to be looking at. And I will be making another window so I don't keep on wasting time. So yeah, don't go anywhere, guys, as I'm going to be making another window. Alright guys, so I already put another window here, and these clubs are going to be looking to sign Stefan Lagarec, who's literally been Lorient's key player. But we're going to see who will Lagarec join. And looks like Lagarec is going to be joining Ipswich Town. So that means it's probably going to be either... So I'll tell you this. It's going to be controversial, but which other clubs who have actually been joining that particular club, we have to sell their worst player to that club whom the club has sold. Like, literally, for example, Steve McManaman. He's literally sold to Marseille. So Marseille is probably going to sell their worst player to Real Madrid. And now that Stefan Lagarec has joined Ipswich Town are probably going to sell their worst player to Lorient. But looks like these are the clubs that... Well, looks like Ipswich Town is probably going to be signing Stefan Lagarec. He's probably a key player, so it's a big letdown for Lorient and the fans right there. Now, our next player is Radoslav Kovac. This guy's basically been carrying Sigma Ulamuk Sorry that I'm saying in like this. I'm pretty sure you know what it means. Sigma is basically like a way brain rot people say it, but it's a Czech Republic club. But let's see, will Radoslav Kovac be staying in Sigma Olomouc or will be sold? And looks like another player is going to be sold, and it's going to be Radoslav Kovac to be sold to another club. And here are the clubs. So, well, technically Sigma Olomouc will be coming off the list, and we're bringing back Lorient since Radoslav Kovac is since Lorient was the only team that was not on the list because of Stefan Lagerek. But let's see which player will be signing Radoslav Kovac. And it's actually going to be Barcelona. Barcelona is going to be signing Radoslav Kovac. He's pretty young. Maybe he has potential to actually... Excuse me. He has potential to actually join one of these big clubs. Probably some good Czech Republic players like Rosišky, Patrick Berger. Then we have... kind of forgot. Then we have Pavel Nedved, and then we had Petržek. So I'm pretty sure they're probably going to remember. They're probably going to repeat these times. You know, these type of steps. But looks like Barcelona will be getting Radoslav Kovac. And speaking of Barcelona, their player is on the list. Mark Overmars is going to be on the list for either Barcelona retaining or selling this player. But let's see, will Mark Overmars be sold or retained? Is it going to be retained or sold? Retained or sold? And just about it. Mark Overmars will be staying for Barcelona for another season. Looks like Mark Overmars is literally Barcelona's key player, so he will not leave to join another club. So he will be staying at Barcelona. So, yep. Next on list is James Scowcroft. James Scowcroft has literally been Leicester City's hero, but will he stay or will he move to another club? And I think it's close call, and looks like James Scowcroft will be sold to another club. And yup, the only team to be not on the list was Lorient. Now I think it's going to be Sigma Olomouc to join, to put on the list. But yup, looks like Scowcroft is going to be joining another club. But which though? And looks like it's going to be either a relegated or new team. And yup, looks like Scowcroft will be the new player to join Lecce. So Lecce is probably going to sell their worst player to Leicester City. And that's a big letdown here for Leicester as they sell their big player to Lecce. And now their next player is going to be a very talented player. It's Savio. Savio has literally been Real Madrid's cult hero. As you saw that. As we can see if he's either going to be retained or sold. And looks like Savio will be sold to another club. And, yep. Looks like we're going to cut down Real Madrid. Where are they? They're literally here. Leicester City will be joining on the list because, remember, Scowcroft was the player to join Lecce. But who will Savio join? There we go. This is going to be pretty intense because who knows what can happen. It's going to be Sigma Olomouc. Savio is literally joining a Czech Republic club. And that is Sigma Olomouc. That's pretty strange because Savio is probably talented. We don't even know who's going to be joining. They did lose Radoslav Kovac as he's moved to Barcelona. And now Savio will be joining Sigma Olomouc. Done deal, and here we go. Next player on the list is going to be Benjamin Gavanon. He's literally been Marseille's hero. But can Marseille retain him or sell him? And I'm pretty sure it's going to be another sell. Man, looks like we're getting a lot of sell than retain. It looks like Benjamin Gavanon will be sold. And Real Madrid will be back on the list. So, give me a sec. So, basically, as you already saw, Steve McManaman has already made a move to... I'm just going to remind you guys. So, the players that have been sold was Steve McManaman. He's joined Marseille. Stefan Lagerek has joined Ipswich Town. Radoslav Kovac has joined Barcelona. James Scowcroft has joined Lecce. Savio has joined Sigma Olomouc. And now we have Benjamin Gavinon. And whom will Benjamin Gavinon join? I'm literally going to close my eyes because this is literally tough. And looks like Benjamin Gavinon is going to be joining Barcelona yet again. That means Barcelona has literally got probably the best players right now. They've got Radoslav Kovac. They retained Mark Overmars. And now they probably got another good player. That's Benjamin Gavinon. Literally, Barcelona has probably have the best team right now. But now the next team on the next player on the list is Adelton. Literally, Hellas Verona's savior. But what's it going to be, though? I'm literally going to close my eyes, but I'm pretty sure you'll see what's it going to be. Is it going to be Sell again? It is. What is happening, man? And the only players that have been retained was Roy Keane and Mark Overmars. But this is crazy. Sorry for coughing a lot, but looks like Hellas Verona will be off the list. And Marseille will be joined. Since, Gavinon, you know the drill. Marseille. But whom will Adelton join? Adelton has actually joined one of the big clubs after debuting for Hellas Verona. But whom will Adelton join? Are they going to join Marseille or Sigma Olomouc? Adelton is literally going to be joining Sigma Olomouc. Now they literally have Savio and now they have Adelton. I have a feeling that Sigma Olomouc has probably got two best players. Depends if they sell the best key players. I don't know. Depends. And our last player on the list is Z Roberto. Will Z Roberto join another club or will he stay at Bayer Leverkusen? I have a feeling it's going to be... What is happening, bro? This is another sell. And only two players have been retained. And that's Mark Overmars and Roy Keane. Looks like Bayer Leverkusen will be off the list. And Hellas Verona will be in. But looks like Bayer Leverkusen are probably going to lose their key aura player, I think. But Z Roberto did actually make a move to Bayern Munich after this. So is the history gonna repeat itself? And I'm pretty sure it is. Just as I said it, Z Roberto is actually gonna be a Bayern Munich player. So I'm actually gonna research and see if this is actually true. And yes, I've confirmed it. Yes, exactly next season, Z Roberto has actually made a move to Bayern Munich. So basically that was realistic transfer, I would say. Z Roberto is actually going to be a Bayern Munich player. So here are the transfers here. Roy Keane will be staying at Man United. Steve McManaman to Marseille. Stefan Lagerek to Ipswich Town. Radoslav Kovac to Barcelona. Mark Overmars to stay at Barcelona. James Scowcroft to Lecce. Savio to Sigma Olomouc. Benjamin Gavinon to Barcelona. Adelton to Sigma Olomouc, and now Z Roberto to Bayern Munich. I really hope you guys enjoy this. And before we end this video, we're going to take a look at the final 16 team, the draw of the 16 teams, which was already confirmed to play in the Brisbane05Blaster World Club Cup Season 2. So we're going to show it to you right away, guys. Alright, guys, we're here to see the final look of the 16 teams, including the 4 new teams added for this season. I really cannot wait for this one because after this one, we're going to be approaching with the inaugural match of this season. And I really cannot wait to see who will win this season and who will be crowned the champions and probably defeat and topple the defending champions Real Madrid. So now, obviously, we start with Manchester United, seen them before in Season 1, alongside Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. However, Piacenza is probably the new team which was added, probably the replacement for AC Milan, since they were eliminated thanks to a masterclass from the underdog team Sigma Olomouc. And then we see Lecce as well. Lecce was also one of them. Sorry guys. keeps on blurring out. So, okay, now you can see clearly. So, as you can see, Lecce was also one of them as well. One of the new added Italian teams to replace Lazio. And then we have Roma, Barcelona, Real Madrid. And then we have the other two new added teams, but this time for the English side, Middlesbrough and Ipswich Town, replacing Tottenham Hotspur and Charlton Athletic. So, yeah, I mean, this is how it actually went. Because Tottenham Hotspur got creamed by Manchester United, and Lazio forgot, they actually got humiliated by Hellas Verona. And Charlton Athletic Athletic probably suffered their worst defeat out of the other three teams. Tottenham Hotspur only lost by 3 goals, same as AC Milan. Lazio was probably the unlucky side because they lost probably by 2 goals, I think. Yeah, I said 1 goal earlier, but now it's actually by 2 goals. Sorry about that. So, Sporting probably, there have been few teams that have actually lost this game by 2 goals. Like Lorient and Sporting Lisbon. Marseille and Roma, or Bayern Munich and Roma were the only teams that have actually won in a close fashion. Bayern Munich actually took Marseille. They were the ones that were trailing. They actually took Marseille to the to extra time, and they lost on extra time or golden goal, whatever. And same with Roma, as they lost on penalty as well. Roma actually lost on penalties to Leicester City. However, Sporting and Lorient were the two teams that could have actually been eliminated. However, both these sides conceded at the later stages of the second half. So, yeah, that's why they're safe, but not for Lazio. So, that's why Lecce was probably the replacement here. But Ipswich Town is the replacement for Charlton Athletic. Obviously, let's see how they'll be doing, especially after they've added their keeper into the squad, Stefan Lagerek from Lorient. And obviously Leicester City is there, but I'm pretty sure they'll be different without their key player, James Scowcroft. Hellas Verona, same thing with Hellas Verona, since they've lost Adelton and Marseille's Gavanon. However, Marseille will be getting a player that is Steve McManaman, so they'll be actually losing their best player for a best player. So I would say that it would be worth it for them. And then Lorient will be losing their keeper. Sporting were basically the only team that is not affected. Well, there have been few teams that have not been affected. Barcelona as well not been affected. They've actually been the ones that have been pouncing on transfers. Real Madrid has been affected. Not Roma. Bayern Munich, they've actually pounced. Same with Leverkusen. Leverkusen were affected, but Manchester United obviously haven't been affected with the transfer. But FC Sigma Ulebuk, they have been affected, but they've actually got 2 best players. They've got Savio and Adelton from Madrid and Hellas Verona respectively. But anyway, guys, before we get to the match, let's take a look at what I've just added right now. So as you already saw, which was already in color coded, this is actually how it stood out to be. Steve McManaman to Marseille, Lagerek to Ipswich Town, Kovac to Barcelona, Scowcroft to Lecce, Sigma Ulebuk to Savio to Sigma Ulebuk, beg your pardon. Benjamin Gavanon to Barcelona, Adelton to Sigma Ulebuk, and Z Roberto to Bayern Munich. And the list goes on and on. I really cannot wait to see how these things go here, because this is actually going to be the second season of my created tournament, Brisbane05 Blaster World Club Cup. I really cannot wait to see how this goes. I really hope you enjoy this one. And we'll be back for what will be the inaugural match for the second season. This is Brisbane05 Blaster here, signing off, and let the games begin.